Nice guys do not understand that it's an expected trait of every single human being to be nice. And that being nice is enough to get a partner. You can't just insert the nice tokens and get sex in return.
I don't know who her audience is. Maybe her audience are high schoolers, but I don't know anyone. Who thinks that just being nice, okay? Just being nice is gonna get you sex. I don't think anyone in this world thinks that. Even the quote-unquote socially dumbest guy probably knows that he needs to have a job, he needs to be a little rich, he needs to look fine. I mean, when did just being nice equate to getting sex? I don't get where she's getting this assumption that she thinks some guys have.
I know people wish it was that easy, but humans are complicated. Women especially. I would know. I've been one for 26 years.
You never know about those statements, and I'm joking, guys. Don't get triggered if you're a fan of Shoe0nHead, but with makeup these days, like, wonders can be done. I'm going to show you an example right now. This is going to blow your mind.
Unless you drive a really nice car and you're really rich and you want a gold digger, being simply nice is not gonna do much for you. You need something else. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Do you play an instrument? Are you funny? So you gotta bring something more to the table than just basic ass niceness.
This type of stuff, it's kind of a treadmill. What I mean by that is, let's say if everyone starts working on different hobbies, suddenly they're in equal footing. So now, to stand out, you have to then do more, right? So it's like, it's a treadmill. You're racing on it, or you can think of it like a race to the bottom. So you all develop one or two good hobbies, but now you're on equal footing again, and then it's judged based on other things. So now the people who really want to stand out have to be even funnier, or have even better hobbies, or make more money. See, it's like a never-ending race, a treadmill or a race to the bottom, whatever expression you want to use. It's not sustainable. That's the thing. So what else do you bring to the table, right? As a person yourself, you should be happy, you should be growing. But if you're bringing to the table stuff just for the sake of women, then you'll find this treadmill, it's going to tire your foot and your legs, and you're going to fall on your face. I'm trying to be very metaphorical, and I don't know if it's working.
If women all dated the first guy that was nice to them, there'd be no single women. My fiance is a very nice guy. He's sentimental, charming, affectionate, and understanding. But he's also hilarious, smart, witty, and charming. And he was also part of my online social group. A lot of girls I know meet who they're dating through social groups, through other friends. Even if they're internet friends, even if it's an online thing. Because you already have something in common with the girl. Internet! Send that bitch some memes. Bitches love memes.
Shoe0nHead's assumption here is that it's easy to get in a social group that has attractive women, or women that the guy's attracted to. Now, I think since she's addressing quote-unquote nice guys, a lot of these guys probably don't even know how to quote-unquote, I keep using that, but a lot of these guys don't know how to break into sort of social groups. They don't know how to form a good entourage. They don't know how to have good friends who can, if they want to meet women, help each other meet women. So she's saying something good, but to really help these nice guys that you're addressing, you have to take a step back and teach them how to even get to the point where they're making female friends or meeting females that have similar commonalities and similarities. You see the problem here? So you're giving them a solution, but you're not giving them the steps, the actionable metrics. I love that word, by the way. It's a stupid big word I use a lot. But you're not giving them the actionable metrics to even reach the mountaintop, to even see the solution.
But anyway, some socially awkward guys confuse confidence with being an asshole. And while men might confuse confidence with being an asshole, women confuse being an asshole with confidence.
I don't have anything else to say about that. That's pretty much true. A lot of guys don't understand. So when they try to be confident at first, they come off as assholes because they don't understand the concept of, hey, it's a middle ground, right? You don't want to do too much this way. You don't want to go too much to the extreme. And like she said, a lot of women, especially younger women, although you can make the argument that they never learn, but a lot of women confuse assholes or narcissists with with guys who are quote unquote confident. And part of this, I'm just going to put this out there, probably is the fact that our families are so broken, right? We don't have good female or male role models to teach us what to actually look for. But again, that's just me going off and being a conservative here.
And it's true, some women just like assholes. That's not the type of woman you want anyway, so forget it. You don't want to be an asshole. You want to strive to be the best you that you could be. Do not strive to be Chad Thundercock. Not every woman likes Chad Thundercock. Every woman is different.
I will give her some points for using the term Chad Thundercock. I think my favorite terms that the manosphere, the red pill community, whatever you call this community of guys who think differently about relationships and life, one of my favorite terms is Chad Thundercock. I love Tyrone. I love that expression. If you don't know what these expressions are, search it up yourself. I'm not going to teach you. I'm not the best guide. I love Chad Thundercock. I love cock carousel. These are probably my three favorite terms: cock carousel, Chad Thundercock, and Tyrone. And the fact that she knows Chad Thundercock, so either her boyfriend or fiance, or maybe she just reads up on this. Give her a few points on that.
Now, I have dealt with nice guy rage before. A guy I knew once sent me really expensive gifts and a love letter with no return address while I had a boyfriend. When I inevitably denied his advances, he started to guilt trip me about the gifts. This is a perfect example of a nice guy trying to buy affection. Do not do nice things just to expect something back. That's not being nice.
That's an extreme example, right? I mean, most people with a brain are not going to go after someone who is already taken. Of course, if someone's taken, it doesn't mean that they're forever taken, right? But most people are not going to go after someone taken and then be so coy about it. What's the right word to describe what he did? And like give a gift and then you kind of don't even leave a return address. I mean, like, I think that's not the best example. That's a very straw man example. I think most nice guys, and I think Shoe0nHead addresses this later, most nice guys are more being taken advantage of emotionally than just financially. So, but as much as this is a straw man or very extreme example, I'm sure every guy can relate at some level, because sometime in the past they probably thought, especially if they watch Korean dramas or watch any sort of like hopeless romantic thing, they think that like being this type of like, what do you call it, sick puppy or whatever, can get a woman's affection. But unless she's like one of those that likes to mother every single person, I don't think that's going to work, people. So listen to Shoe0nHead on this.
When I was in my late teens and early 20s and I was working, guys would come up to me and try to talk to me and try to ask me out, and I'd be like, I have a boyfriend, even though I didn't at the time. And guys usually respect when you're taken, even though one time one of them was like, well, he's not here right now, but I guess that's a story for another time. Woo!
But I thought persistence was good, though, right? Don't you put up resistance just to see if how much balls he has, how much he takes charge? So, what are you saying? What do you say? Is all of that wrong, girl? I was being funny, but listen to what they say versus what they mean, right? That's what you always have to do. It's not just with women, just in life. Listen to what they say versus what they mean, and then judge for yourself. But let's keep watching.
But I would always deny people because I wasn't ready to date, which is fine. If you're like that, that's cool. Everybody matures differently. Everybody's ready at a different time in their life.
And that's so true, people. Our society, especially our fourth wave feminist, kind of hyper-liberal leftist society, almost guilts guys especially, but women too, guilts people who just don't seem ready to just like pull it out and just want to like stick it in everything. And like there's nothing wrong with like waiting until you feel like you're emotionally and mentally ready. And I know personally in high school I wasn't really ready, and like even for most of college I wasn't even ready, but I felt guilty. I fucking felt guilty that I was like, why am I a fucking late bloomer? There's like nothing wrong with being a late bloomer. And I'm glad she made this point. Of course, for her, being a late bloomer just meant early in high school. She wasn't ready. But like the male brain especially develops a little later, right? We're busy building more connections in our brain. So probably until like 26 or so, you're not completely an adult. I get why people feel pressured and people feel the stigma, it's because everyone's like, Brave New World style mounting each other when they're like 12 or 13 or 14. So if you really are a late bloomer, you're like really, right? You're behind the curve. There's a reason why the human brain develops late, right? You want to be making rational, good decisions, and you don't want to just be trusting your impulses all the time. Although, trust your impulses once in a while.
But when I denied these advances, I would always go, "You're really nice, but you're nice." But I didn't realize that I was part of the problem until very recently. Girls, just say no.
I think that's a really, really great piece of advice that she just gave. It's in female nature, I think, and I don't know if it's biological or it's sociological as in environmentally caused, but females normally are not as direct as males, and I think it varies by culture. But if you're not interested in him, just say you're not interested. A guy will feel way less hurt. If you just tell him no and he can move on, then you give him mixed signals or you string him along and then he realizes you weren't actually that interested. You see, being direct helps. And I get it. It's like females are physically weaker. They're afraid, what if I say no and then he like punches me in the face or something? That could happen. It's probably very rare, especially in the West. But you risk getting punched in the face too if you string them along, and that punch might be a lot harder. But basically what she's saying is just be more forthcoming. And I have to say this with guys too. A lot of guys, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes you're not into a girl, but she's into you. You're like, fuck, maybe I should just keep her around, So this is good advice, not just for guys, but for girls too. And the problem is that it's hard to enforce this because the guy that keeps around a lot of girls that are interested in him, he has an advantage, right? But then he starts hurting girls, or if girls do that to guys, and basically, if you do this selfish thing where you can't just say no, what you inevitably do is you create bitter, angry people on both sides, and then they start fucking over more people, not like physically, but like mentally, emotionally, fucking over more people, and then it just creates a spiral. Like, life is a prisoner's dilemma in a way. If you don't know what a prisoner's dilemma is, I suggest you look it up. It's a great game theory concept. So, let's keep watching.
Here's a big pill to swallow. Nice guy syndrome is just as much our fault as it is men's fault. I know when you turn someone down and you go, "Oh, you're really nice, but you're just being sweet. You don't want to hurt their feelings," and I understand that. Just tell him you're not interested. Just tell him that you're not feeling it. Just tell him you don't feel any chemistry. You can still do this in a nice way, but please, please do not go, "You are nice, but." Because what this does, especially to socially awkward men, is tell them that they're being turned down just for being nice. So he'll go to his friends and be like, "She called me nice and then rejected me." Therefore, continuing the nice guys finish last hunk of bullshit.
So we can break this down into two things. One, which we've talked about before, is the fear of offending people, the fear of retaliation, right? But besides that, really, there's a sense of communication that I think we need to address here, because some of this is just communication imperfections. Something I've talked about before on my channel is, especially when in cases where there's ambiguity, be as specific as possible to pinpoint sort of what's going on. Let's give a stupid example. Let's say he gives you flowers and he thinks that can buy your affection, and as a girl, you don't want to get with him, so what do you do now? So instead of saying, "Oh yeah, you're so nice, but I don't want to date you," or something like, be like, "Those flowers, they're pretty, but I'm looking for this, and this in a guy." You see, you acknowledged this action, but you didn't associate it with being nice, because nice is very broad. It's a thing. It has a stigma, and then you gave some reasons that explain why you're not gonna sort of take his affections, right? You see, the more specific, and I'm gonna use this fucking term again. Sorry, the more metrics. Fuck, man, I'm all about metrics. The more actionable metrics you give, the better the communication is, and it helps move everything forward.
Now let's talk about the friend zone. "You're nice, but I'd rather stay friends." Truly the worst thing to hear. If she likes you as a friend, why can't she like you as a lover? Because romantic chemistry is a two-way street, bucko. Do not girlfriend zone a girl. And what I mean by that is, if you cannot see her as anything other than a girlfriend, if it kills you to not be romantically or sexually with her, if it kills you to see her with another person, if you can't stand the thought of never embracing her, get out of there!
I like your honesty. Of course, there's other ways to get out of the friend zone, right? It's not just like you have to leave. I mean, one thing, and I credit a lot of you guys for explaining this to some of my other audience, is that it's stochastic. What I mean by friendships, romance, it's all stochastic. It's hard to quantify. It's hard to find any sort of trends a lot of the time. And what that means is the friend zone is normally not something that you get stuck in unless you choose to get stuck in it, right? If you're quote unquote in the friend zone and you get better at life, maybe you get better looking, or you get a better job or something, you get a lot of cool friends or something, like chances are she will change the way she sees you. Or if you really start getting with a lot of women and she sees that, chances are she'll see you differently. So the friend zone is not something constant. It is constant if you think you're stuck in it, right? It's all about the mindset. If you think you're stuck in it and you refuse to accept the reality that she harbors no romantic feelings back, then you're probably stuck in the friend zone. And I'm saying he, she, but you can reverse this too. But it's not stochastic. So I think the nuclear option of just getting the fuck out is the easiest, because it prevents you from getting hurt and it prevents her from hurting you. You could reverse the gender roles around if you want, but you don't have to just do the nuclear option. You could just chill it a little bit, right? Maintain basic, decent human contact, but do other things. But of course it is hard, because if you have unrequited feelings, the thing about the human mind, this is what I talked about last response video, is that we want what we can't get, right? So the more unrequited it is, the more it's on your fucking mind. So the nuclear option that she says, get the fuck out, is sometimes the best.
This is going to be torture for you. Do not wait around for months, for years, for her to change her mind. That's time wasted. There are other girls. If you cannot get over your unrequited love, get out. And girls, this is on us too. Don't think you're getting away. If you turn down a guy just to be friends with him, as painful as it is to lose him as a friend, the best thing might be to let him go. Because if you don't, you're always going to feel awkward. You might even feel guilt, knowing that this guy that you hang out with has feelings for you. Unless you're a cold bitch and you just like stringing men along, you have to let him go.
That's some real talk right there. So good for you, Shoe0nHead. It reminds me of in the wild a lot of times. A lot of the calves, the young animals, have to get driven away from the herd, right? That's what the herd does. The mom drives the son away, and so the son can go be independent and just start his own family. And so in a very weird way, it just reminds you of that. It's like, if she's not into you and she tells you no, it might be better for the guy's maturity and emotional growth to just say, yeah, it's best if we just don't communicate for a while and you just go and grow. Maybe you go your own way, and then you will become a better person and you will attract the right people. Very interesting. But I'm if women really take her advice and like don't string guys along and don't remain friends with guys who have unrequited feelings for them, I wonder how many problems that would solve. That might actually solve a lot of problems. So this is very cool.
That doesn't mean I don't think women and men can't be friends. I really truly believe they can. But when there's unrequited feelings involved, that's when things get tragic. Chemistry is very important, and if it doesn't go both ways, it's not gonna work.
There is something I want to qualify to her point, which is that the more you are in contact and get to know some person, the more likely you're going to like them. So if it's female and a male, and very likely, there's There's hormones involved. You start getting to know them, there's gonna be attraction. That's just inevitable. So, there are cases where men and women can be friends, right? He's much older or she's much older. She doesn't swing his way or he doesn't swing his way. Maybe she's a lesbian, he's straight, or he's gay, she's straight, or maybe he's married, she's married, or something like that. Or maybe he's really unattractive or she's really unattractive or something like that. Like, there are cases where it's possible for men and women to be friends, but they're more rare than I think Shoe0nHead is getting at. So I would take that with a grain of salt. Be careful who your friends are that are male or female, because feelings very likely are going to develop. And it is kind of correlated, though it's maybe slightly stochastically correlated. I just had an oxymoron. Stochastic and correlate don't work together. But what I mean is, if you plot time on the x-axis and you plot potential for attraction, it's probably upward trending as time goes on. So, Shoe0nHead, I disagree with you on that.
Nice guy syndrome is cancer. Nice guys get the wall. Be a nice guy, but don't be a nice guy. Make sure you have other things to bring to the table other than just being nice. And don't lie to yourself. You're not being turned down just for being nice. There are many other reasons why you're not likable. And if you are being turned down for being nice, forget about that person, because they're not worth it. You'll find someone who appreciates your niceness, as well as all your other qualities. Focus on yourself before all others. Love yourself. If you don't love yourself, it's going to be very difficult for others to love you. When you learn to love yourself, that is very attractive to other people. And like I've said before, if you can't learn to love yourself, learn to love hating yourself, because nihilism is sometimes funny and humor is very attractive.
That is not true. Okay. Do this social experiment. Go on a date next time, or I don't know, just around your female friends or something. Just around someone that's attractive and you're attracted to, and be nihilistic or be self-deprecating and see what happens. They'll be like, but they'll immediately, I think that's a pretty good impression. They immediately get awkward. So nihilism might be attractive for people who bond already, right? And maybe that's what she's saying. Like, her friends, when they're being self-deprecating or they're being nihilistic or they're hating themselves, that's funny. But to people you're attracted to, nihilism, self-deprecation, not quote-unquote always being confident, just literally, it just shows that you're not confident. It shows you don't value yourself. So maybe she's saying that tongue-in-cheek. Hey, Shoe0nHead tongue-in-cheek. It's like we have a theme right here. But I wouldn't be. Think about comedians that are super nihilistic. Comedians that are funny, right? They tell the truth. They make you think. They make you be like, damn, the human condition's screwed up. You think they're getting laid doing that? No, that's why they're so nihilistic. So avoid the nihilism, people. Really.
But most important out of all of these things is you don't need a relationship to be happy. You don't need a relationship to have a fulfilling life. Don't feel pressured to get into a relationship. Don't feel pressured to lose your virginity. Just be the best you that you can be. Basically, be yourself, bro.
She makes a really good point here, which is you don't want to be tethered to some sort of external validation, which being in a relationship is a sort of external validation, right? You want to feel internally validated, which is like, feel good about yourself here. Like, be making progress in your life in every aspect, but don't seek external validation. And wanting to be in a relationship, I look at people, I see them holding hands, I see them making out, I want to be like that too, right? You just want external validation, right? Internal validation's all you need, really. Internal validation's all. And I know this is cultural. Some cultures are more externally validated. America's a contradiction because we're individualistic, but we're also so narcissistic with our social media and our media in general. So it's like we're individualistic, but we also seek external validation. There's like a very weird contradiction. Whereas, a society like China or maybe other more conformist countries is like you seek external validation, but like it's less individualistic, right? So everyone's seeking external validation. That was just a little aside, but listen to what she said here. This is really, really good advice.
So that was my little nice guys rant for Valentine's Day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope maybe you took something out of it. I would love to see what you guys think of this topic below. What are your experiences with the friend zone? Tell me your relationship problems. I hope you guys have a great day. Please don't die. I will be very angry if you die, and happy Valentine's Day.
That don't die thing was a little weird. Let's be honest. Maybe it's some inside joke or maybe it's some current event I forgot. I don't know. But yeah, it's not worth losing anything to care too much about relationships. I think it's a given if you watch this channel. Seek other things, seek knowledge, seek other things, man. Seek perfection in something else because love, relationship, etc. It's very stochastic. I'm using that word again, stochastic. It's like randomly determined, right? It's you can't really find good trends. And if people really knew the answer, we wouldn't have dating coaches and pickup artists and all that. And all these dating coaches and pickup artists are getting divorced and stuff like that. They're not in a relationship. So no one knows the answer. So work on yourself. Be the best you can be, which is what she said too. And be skeptical too. Like, don't believe everything she says. Don't believe everything I say. Hell, we're just two people. But examine yourself, right? Always examine all of this stuff. And there are ways to be happy. There are ways to look at life and see the positives. And that's what I hope my channel does more. I know I like to be funny, but like nihilistically funny sometimes. I like to joke around and, curse and stuff like that. Like put up an angry persona. But like, I think deep down at heart, everyone around me is very positive, very funny. And I hope that shows in my videos. I think that's why most of you subscribe to me. But if it's not showing, let me know. Do my best to show myself even more. But I think I'm done talking. And I thank you, Shoe0nHead, for making this video. It definitely got me to respond. So that's what life is about. That's what information is about. That's what I think media should be about. So thanks again, Shoe0nHead. And thank everyone else for watching. Leave a comment, press a like, press subscribe, etc. Talk to you next week.